And now at 9, breaking news. Tens of thousands of LA County workers go on strike, and we're already seeing the impact.
A shootout at a convenience store caught on camera, and tonight we're hearing from the deputy who was shot 5 times in a story you'll only see here on Kcal News.
And I'm Simon editor Mike Rogers here at the desk. People living near the Palisades could see smoke again, but it's all a controlled burn. I'll tell you about it ahead. Kcal News at 9 starts right now.
This is Kcal News, Los Angeles.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Pat Harvey.
I'm RUDABEH SHAHBAZI. We have breaking news. More than 55,000 LA County employees are now on strike.
And Kcal's Tom Wade is at LA General Medical Center, where the first pickets went up just 2 hours ago. Evening, Tom.
And good evening to you, Pat and RUDABEH. That's right. Workers are very angry about the situation that's playing out right now. They say that the county has offered them what they call a demoralizing offer for a contract renewal. Take a live look. You can see here, this is a group of healthcare workers and a range of other workers as well. Just a tiny little snippet of the 55,000 workers that have walked off the job for a planned 2-day strike. LA County's frontline workers walk off the job for a planned 2-day strike. The move comes as members of Service Employees International Union, or SEIU, say contract talks have broken down, claiming the county is not bargaining in good faith.
It's a demoralizing.
Kelly Zhao is a nurse anesthesiologist at LA General. She's worked here for more than 20 years.
During COVID, healthcare providers, we stepped up. We did our job, and we put our lives on the line.
Cynthia Mitchell is a supervising staff nurse.
We are here for an unfair labor practice strike because Los Angeles County has failed to come to the table to bargain with us in good faith. We have been bargaining since December.
These healthcare staffers are among 55,000 county workers joining the brief strike. Social workers, parks and rec, libraries, all affected. The union says a major sticking point has been over the county's initial contract offer with a 0% raise. LA County Board of Supervisors Chair Catherine Barger.
We did start with 0%, but it's bargaining. They started with I think 40%.
The county disputes claims it's engaged in unfair labor practices, adding it's facing unprecedented stresses on our budget, including a tentative $4 billion settlement of thousands of childhood sexual assault claims. SEIU says the county has the resources.
I feel it's very unfair and unfortunate they put it that way because look at the facts, right? They are spending billions of dollars on contracting out. Those are the money could be invested in our community.
And in talking to the healthcare workers out here tonight, they really made a point that they want to drive home that working situations and working conditions inside of LA General, very challenging on any given day. As you heard there in the piece, COVID obviously presented its own host of intense challenges, but just on a day-to-day basis, what they go through here, they say, is very difficult emotionally, physically. They say that the county should treat them better, but as you heard there, the county saying they are just strapped for cash. The state, the city, the county, all saying they are fighting billion-dollar budget deficits. Reporting live in Boyle Heights, I'm Tom Waite, Kcal News.
Tom, thank you. And we now know the strike is impacting emergency services. At least one of 3 shooting victims in Boyle Heights had to be transferred to a hospital in Pasadena this afternoon while in critical condition. That's because ambulances were not being accepted at LA General Medical Center, which was closer to the crime scene. Police are still looking for the gunman and trying to figure out what led up to that shooting.
Only on Kcal News tonight, a San Bernardino County sergeant shot multiple times by an armed man at a high desert gas station. And now he's back on the job and opening up about the experience. The sheriff is also speaking about the increasing dangers his men and women face every day. Nicole Comstock has the story.
I was shot in my right thigh, my left calf, the bottom of my right foot, and one round went through my taser and into my vest.
Hey, stop!
San Bernardino County Sheriff Sergeant Shane Anderson recounts this harrowing shootout in the high desert. He was responding to a call of an armed man threatening to kill his own girlfriend.
Stand 5, I'm hit. Shots fired.
And right as he reloads his service weapon, the suspect comes back out of this convenience store and shoots at him some more.
I just took some breaths and handled the situation as it unfolded.
He says he was able to keep his composure when the suspect pulled a Glock out of his waistband and started shooting him because of his training and experience. Anderson has dedicated nearly 2 decades of his life to protecting this county.
I knew that as long as I could deal with him, then everybody else was going to make it out okay.
Remarkably, no one else in the store was injured, and the victim who was hiding in the restroom was rescued. The armed suspect, Jorge Cardenas, was killed. Sergeant Anderson was left with some nasty scars.
It was really important to me to show everybody that this wasn't going to slow me down or hold me back.
And he returned to work just 2 months after being shot 5 times because he says his worst days on the job don't overshadow his best.
One of the things that I would like to convey is I love this job. I've been doing it for 18 years, and it is even more rewarding than I imagined that it was going to be.
Think about the pressures that come from that officer's family. They don't want them to go back out there and expose themselves to any of that again.
Sheriff Shannon Dykes says the job has become much more dangerous in recent years. Since 2021, he says there have been 75 deputy-involved shootings in San Bernardino County, when 2 or 3 per year used to be a lot.
These are deputies since I've been in the executive staff that have lost their lives in the line of duty. So every time I put this belt on, I remember them. And it's just a very difficult environment right now. And a lot of these things have been politicized. There's a lot of media out there that says, yeah, fight the cops.
But he says most citizens here support proactive policing.
I expect my deputies to go out there and make traffic stops and to contact the public and try to get to the criminal element before they get to any of our citizens.
And after the incident, Sergeant Anderson was awarded a Medal of Valor by the California State Sheriff's Association. Nicole Comstock, Kcal News.
Tomorrow, federal investigators will be back near the start of the Palisades fire.
And it's all in hopes of getting to the bottom of how that deadly fire started. Kcal News assignment editor Mike Rogers at the desk now. Mike, people in the area may see smoke tomorrow.
Yeah, you know, Pat and RUDABEH, they're calling this controlled fire testing. You imagine it might be a little unnerving for people in the Palisades that are still there to see smoke in the exact same place where this fire started. Look at the video, though, from Kcal today. It's a little bit eerie because you see these green hillsides where there was so much devastation just a few months ago. Now, the ATF says that they will be out there starting tomorrow evening, and they will be out there through Thursday doing what they called controlled fire testing. Now, remember, the ATF is the lead in the investigation into how this fire started. That's why they will be the ones that are here tomorrow. Local officials called in for their expertise to try to determine the cause of the Palisades fire. I want to show you a video from January when the investigators were out there before. You can see it looks like a much different landscape then. There they are in about the same area. Now, the ATF is not giving specific details on exactly how they'll be doing this controlled fire testing, but they do want people to know that it will be happening. And again, as I mentioned, it'll be starting tomorrow evening and running through Thursday. So anybody that sees smoke in that area should know that it is actually the ATF that is doing some of that testing. Remember, kind of one of the working theories here about how this fire may have started is that there was a fireworks fire on New Year's Eve that apparently was put out by fire crews, but now the thought is it may have smoldered, kicked back up in the wind on January 7th. It was roughly in that same area that you just saw from Kcal. So ATF's trying to sort all of that out. Don't forget, there's a lawsuit against LADWP, accusing them of a second ignition point that is also under investigation.
All right, Mike, let's hope all goes well.
Yeah.
And if you have a question about rebuilding efforts or a story tip, we'd like to hear from you. You can scan the QR code on your screen or send an email to kcalnews.com/tips.
New at 9, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation projects Mark Carney and his Liberal Party will lead the country. Carney replaced Justin Trudeau as leader of the Liberal Party 6 weeks ago. He took on Pierre Poilievre, a conservative with Trump-like policies. President Trump's talk of annexing Canada and his tariff policies spurred many Canadians into action to vote for Carney.
It is a scary time with what's happening across the border in the United States, and I feel that Mark Carney is a serious choice for a leader.
Whatever Trump is doing is not good for Canada, but it's bringing everyone together.
I was very disappointed with almost all of the leading parties.
The National Public Broadcaster says it's not clear if the Liberal Party will win a majority of Parliament seats, but that it will win more than the Conservatives.
Well, RUDABEH tomorrow marks President Trump's 100th day in office. And as Kcal's Erica Brown tells us, a new CBS poll shows the president is becoming more unpopular, but not when it comes to his immigration policy.
President Trump welcomed the Philadelphia Eagles to the White House Monday in celebration of the team's recent Super Bowl victory. The visit comes on the eve of the president's 100th day in office. A new CBS News poll finds the president's overall approval rating has dropped to 45%, down from 53% in February. But when it comes to the president's immigration program to deport immigrants who are in the United States illegally, more than half, 56%, approve. Posters with photographs of unnamed people the administration says were undocumented and arrested for alleged crimes were displayed on the White House North Lawn. Also Monday, President Trump signed more executive orders, including one aimed at sanctuary cities and another requiring all U.S. truck drivers to be proficient in the English language. The orders come as the Trump administration defends the removal of 3 young children, all U.S. citizens, to Honduras last week when their mothers were deported.
If you choose to have a U.S. citizen child, knowing you're in this country legally, you put yourself in that position. You put your family in that position.
I can't even imagine how much time we spend debating how much generosity, how many billions of taxpayer dollars, how much amnesty, how many reprieves we should give to people who chose to come here illegally and take from us and our people.
Border Czar Tom Homan said approximately 139,000 deportations have been carried out since President Trump returned to office. Erica Brown, Kcal News.
Up next tonight, a tribute to Kobe and Gianna. Ruined the new vandalism at a mural for the mama and his daughter. Leslie.
And Beyonce kicking off her Cowboy Carter tour right here in LA. We get a sneak peek inside the concert, so stick around, round.
I like the singing. Should I sing? No.
Yes, Olga.
No, you don't want me to.
Oh, yes, we do.
How about sunshine, sunshine, sunshine?
Nice.
Warm temperatures. That is what I am tracking, but I'm not going to sing anymore. Don't worry. So come back.
Well, we are wilding out. New at 9, a mural to Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna vandalized. Kcal flew over the mural this afternoon along Main Street in downtown LA. The tree is blocking the view a little bit, but you can barely make out the picture of Kobe and Gianna underneath all the graffiti.
Beyonce is in the building. She just hit the stage at SoFi, kicking off her Cowboy Carter tour right here in SoCal.
It is the first of 5 shows at the stadium, and I don't know, RUDABEH, she hasn't heard Leslie Marin. Leslie is there live in Inglewood with all the fun, and you sounded great, Leslie. She might pull you up on stage if she heard you.
Pat, coming from a singer yourself, that is quite the compliment, because I was going to say I'm going to leave all the singing to the professionals. Occasionally we can hear her incredible voice from outside of SoFi Stadium, and then we hear the crowd just go wild. As you guys mentioned, she is kicking off her latest tour right here in LA, and boy, has it been quite a show. We may not be in Texas, but tonight LA went Cowboy Carter crazy for Beyonce, who came out decked in a white fringe cowgirl getup. But before the star hit the stage, fans packed SoFi Stadium hours before gates opened, decked out in cowboy hats, cowboy boots, and denim.
This is a Beyonce merch. This is Levi's from her Levi collab.
Chelsea Hesla had her outfit specially made.
Beyonce's version of America. What we all would like to see America be in her vision.
Beyonce kicked off her 32-show Cowboy Carter tour here in Los Angeles.
This is kind of our tradition. We've been to like almost all the tours together.
Friends Elias, Allie, and Alexander drove all the way from Salt Lake City to be here on night 1.
I woke up at 3 a.m. in Singapore to buy these tickets, and we're on the floor, so we're very excited.
But last-minute buyers got lucky. Resellers on Ticketmaster were selling tickets minutes before showtime for as low as $50.
So lay your cards down, 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 down.
The ticket's still a hot commodity. The Cowboy Carter Tour follows the release of the album last year, which she has only performed one other time on Christmas Day during this halftime at an NFL game.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The album paid homage to the black roots of country music. Beyonce went on to win her first Grammy for Best Album and became the first black artist to win a Grammy for Best Country Album.
It matters more to me too because there's a deeper connection and like we have that understanding of what we've all been through.
She's definitely an inspiration. I was just like Black American with Southern roots. She's been everything to me since I was yay high.
And if you missed tonight, Queen Bee will perform 4 more nights here in LA, giving her the title of the most performances at the venue since it opened. Yeah, that is, of course, a big title, right? I'm just looking through Ticketmaster right now for Thursday's show. That's the next show, how much tickets are going for right now. Some people selling their tickets for about $72 for Section 300, so you could still get your hands on some pretty good tickets. I will tell you, she started her performance around 8:15. She normally performs around 3 hours. When the concert ends, I will tell you that is the mad rush to get out of here. There's another concert over at the Intuit Dome with a Latin superstar over there. So a lot of traffic to get out of Inglewood. These people just have to be prepared. Reporting live from Inglewood, Leslie Medine, Kcal News.
All right, thanks so much. Hang in there, Leslie, because you're going to have to be there too before you leave. Get out of the stadium. Well, after a cool start to the day, there's more warm weather on the way.
Meteorologist Olga Ospina has your next weather forecast. Hello.
Hi, ladies. Yes, I am tracking some really warm temperatures. We're talking 70s and even 80s in the extended forecast. And don't worry, no more singing from me. Here's a look at what is next in your forecast. Temperatures are rising. We already felt it this afternoon, but tomorrow is going to be the warmest. And that's when we start to see places like the Inland Empire, the valleys getting into the low 80s. Low clouds and fog, though, do return fairly quickly. Already by Wednesday, we start to see more of that marine influence. Temperatures start to drop. And then by the weekend, we also add in the chance of getting some showers. So as we get a little closer, we'll fine tune that a little more. But just as you start to make your weekend plans, keep that in mind. Temperatures, though, are up this evening from what we were feeling yesterday, and skies are clear. So it's going to be a cool night, but it's going to be a warm one tomorrow afternoon with those above average temperatures. Next 12 hours in Santa Clarita, we're looking at low 50s, turning into mid 60s by mid morning. And look at this, upper 70s already by the noon hour, and numbers topping out for Santa Clarita in the low 80s. We'll see low 80s also for the high desert and for parts of the Inland Empire, with low 80s in Chino, into Riverside, San Bernardino, and Hemet. 90s for Palm Springs. Along the coastline, still keeping things cool in the upper 60s for most of us. If you are headed to the beach, keep in mind we do have elevated surf and strong rip currents, especially for southwest facing beaches, and that's going to continue through Wednesday evening. For the high desert, especially some of our mountain areas, we're looking at periods of gusty winds, especially by the afternoon, evening hours. Starting the day, things are pretty calm, but then the winds start to increase. Again, places like the Antelope Valley will be impacted with gusts in that 20-30 mile per hour range. So these will be below advisory winds, but it's going to be a little breezy out there the next several days. Wednesday morning, things calm down and then once again pick up heading into the afternoon and the evening hours. Rain chances, that's going to be the big story heading into the weekend. We'll keep things dry for the work week, and then by the weekend, those rain chances start to increase. Temperatures start to drop too. We'll start to see more cloud cover. 74 for the LAOC metro area, 71 already by Wednesday. So enjoy the sunshine tomorrow and the warm temperatures, because by Wednesday, temperatures do start to drop. Not too bad, though, for places like the valleys at 81 tomorrow afternoon, and then mid 70s by Wednesday. Thursday, still looking good on Friday, and then low 70s and mid 60s returning by Saturday, Sunday, with that chance of showers. For the Inland Empire, we're looking at 80 degrees tomorrow afternoon. So really those inland spots are going to be very warm, as well as the desert. Mountain areas, you'll be in the 60s, turning into 50s. And for the beaches, we'll keep it in the 60s over the next 7 days. But some cloud cover as we head already towards the middle and the end of the week. Back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Olga. And up next here at 9 o'clock, taking train safety to a new level. The new high-tech way, Metro is giving riders more peace of mind before they board.
Plus, the new plan to bring production jobs back to Hollywood.
And Game 5 between the Kings and Oilers will be right here on Kcal tomorrow night. Coverage begins with LA Kings live pregame at 6:30 with the puck dropping at 7:30.
Part of keeping you and your family safe is alerting you to changes that could impact your day.
We're going to get you and your family prepared. That's all coming up in your next weather.
Which is why we're launching our next weather alert system here at Kcal News.
You're also seeing flooding, which is what our meteorologists have been warning us about.
When we see weather coming that could alter your plans or potentially become dangerous, we'll trigger a next weather alert.
So stay with Kcal News because we'll keep you safe no matter what the weather.
The LA Metro is taking additional measures to make public transportation more safe. It has expanded its weapons detection system to the Norwalk station, where passengers will be screened for weapons.
If something was detected on their persons that triggered the system itself, they would go to secondary screening. What we've estimated is the impact to the rider, just going through the screening process itself. If there's nothing detected, 2 seconds. If there's something detected, no more than 10 to 15 seconds.
Officials will assess the technology over the next year to see if it can be effective.
State lawmakers are looking to breathe new life into California's TV and film industry. Lawmakers, industry leaders, business owners, actors, they all gathered at the state capitol today to support the California Film and Television Jobs Act. It would strengthen the state's tax credit program as California continues to lose production jobs to places like Atlanta and Vancouver.
This is an ecosystem. And in nature, when an ecosystem breaks down, it doesn't come back. The Sahara Desert used to be fertile farmland. We can't let this become a desert here in California.
AB 1138 is being heard right now by the Assembly Revenue Committee. The Senate version of the bill is being considered by the Senate Appropriations Committee.
Up next at 9, the crime concern in East LA after a young girl is shot while riding in her mother's car.
Plus, a major milestone in the fire zone. How an Eaton fire survivor is paving the way for others in their rebuilding journey.
And hundreds of children having so much fun in an after-school soccer league. And the Orange County Soccer Club is behind it all. Jamie Maggio coming up next with sports.
This is Kcal News, Los Angeles.
Now at 9:30, an 11-year-old girl hit by gunfire while in the car with her mom. LA County Sheriff's deputies are still searching for the gunman tonight, who they say was with a group tagging nearby businesses.
And as Kcal's Jasmine Veal tells us, business owners are concerned about the rise in gang violence.
In this security camera video, you can hear nearly a dozen gunshots being fired at a passing car on Union Pacific Avenue in East LA early Monday morning. The video shows the gunman firing a final round before jumping into the car and taking off with at least 4 other people. Earlier on, the video shows them tagging nearby businesses with gang graffiti. The LA County Sheriff's Department says at least one of those rounds hit an 11-year-old girl in the stomach, riding in a car with her mom headed to a nearby store. She was taken to the hospital but is in stable condition.
Pretty frightening. People shooting, wild west.
This local business owner, who did not want to be identified out of fear for his safety, says the city is constantly coming to clean up spray-painted gang tags that we have blurred, left on the side of his building.
It's always tagged up every week.
But this time it turned violent. This man who grew up here, who also wanted to protect his identity, says he had thought things were getting better.
It's not good for the community. It's a danger to everybody that lives here.
Another local business owner says he too is frustrated with the violence, the graffiti, and fearful. He says just 2 months ago on this same street, there was a gang shootout.
they shot up our business. And we found bullets in the morning all inside the office. And then, as you can see here as well, there's a bullet hole there as well where it went through.
Jerry Vizcarra owns a fabric dyeing business in the neighborhood. He says his employees came under fire 2 months ago as they were leaving work in the afternoon. Fortunately, no one was hit.
I believe local kids around the age of troubled youth, maybe 15 to 18 years old, that are doing this constantly.
Vizcarra and others say while they are glad that girl will be okay, they want more done to stop this from happening again. Do you feel safe?
No, not anymore. Not with this.
They're not scared of the law, or they don't fear anything. I do hope the city does do something about this.
In East LA, Jasmine Veal, Kcal News.
More progress in fire recovery efforts. 4 months after the Eaton fire, construction is underway to rebuild a home that burned down in Altadena. The homeowner, Margaret Stuber, has lived in Altadena for 18 years, and she says it took less than 2 months to get her rebuilding permit. She's been working with the team to design her new home.
And today is the first day of my new life, so it will manifest, where I can sit again in front of a fireplace with my cat and with my friends.
Stuber is going for a modern design and says she could move back in as early as January. She encourages other homeowners to attend public meetings, ask questions, and look into loans.
It's adding more stress, more pain, unnecessary pain.
And frustration in the burn scars. Burglaries near the Eaton fire area up 4 times higher than normal, causing more loss for people who have already been through so much.
Kcal News assignment editor Mike Rogers is at the desk. And Mike, tonight you spoke with the Sheriff's Department, who's trying to get creative in stopping crime in the area.
Yeah, RUDABEH and Pat, I spoke with the lieutenant over at Altadena Station who says generally when neighborhood crimes try to be stopped, it's by observant neighbors, it's by ring cameras, it's by other community means that are able to notify law enforcement. But in a neighborhood like the Altadena neighborhood, where everything has been destroyed, that simply doesn't exist anymore. So now sheriff's deputies have to figure a lot of other things out. Tonight we also had a chance to speak with a frustrated homeowner who says they've actually had to group together as neighbors to hire private security.
We're bringing in enormous resources into the area, and that's just good old-fashioned police working. We'll set up a barrier to entry so that if somebody crosses over that, it can be considered trespassing. Where normally, right now, people can just walk through the empty lot. We've been working closely with our town council, and the neighborhood watch is starting up again. We're having block captains so we can disseminate all the information we're preparing and all the different kind of innovative solutions we have. It's going to really be a big community effort to stop this.
Yeah, now the lieutenant tells me tonight, in addition to what you heard him say about the fencing, they've also are in the process of installing 70 cameras in the area of Altadena, which will allow them to run license plates on cars that are coming and going out of the area. The crime spike, by the way, burglaries up 450% year over year. The lieutenant tells me tonight a lot of that is right from the beginning of the fire. He says things have started to decline a little bit, but you can see tonight we saw lots of deputies on patrol. Now, one neighbor in the area says it's just been a very difficult thing to have to deal with.
I don't know. I think times have changed. I think, people, I don't know. I feel like people are just thinking of themselves. Some people are thinking of themselves, but I feel like in our community, we are working together and we're thinking of each other and we're helping each other. And I feel like that's what's needed now. And that's what's happening, at least in our community now.
Yeah, and the Sheriff's Department tells me that's exactly what has to happen. The community has to band together as one. So does law enforcement to try to solve this unique type of problem that they're dealing with. They're also encouraging people that may have homes that didn't burn but they're not there, if they don't have internet, to get wildlife cameras, because you can come back. They're in 4K. They don't have to be connected to internet. You can come back and have that evidence later. By the way, he says they are doubling their patrol efforts in the Altadena area. Tonight, they have 19 extra deputies on patrol in the Eaton fire burn scar to try to protect from these types of burglaries. RUDABEH.
Wow. All right, Mike, thank you. Well, you are looking live from the Vatican now, where they're getting ready to choose the next pope. The Sistine Chapel is now closed to tourists after Vatican officials announced today that the conclave will begin next Wednesday, May 7th. Crews are already installing the stove where ballots will be burned after each vote. Black smoke signals the vote was inconclusive, and white smoke signals that cardinals have successfully chosen the next pope. The 9 days of mourning for Pope Francis ends on Sunday.
As we approach day 100 of the Trump presidency, a CBS News poll shows 48% of people believe they are worse off financially because of his policies. Janet Chamlian went to the heart of America to show us the impact of the tariffs.
Elkhart, Indiana is often considered a crystal ball on the economy because it produces 80% of the nation's RVs. A big-ticket discretionary item. People don't buy them when times are tough. And right now on Elkhart's Main Street, concern is blooming.
We are facing tariffs. Everybody is.
And people cut back when they're unsure.
That's right.
Jennifer Rupp now owns Matsky Florist. This is usually one of her busiest times of the year.
Are you seeing a slowdown?
Oh, yeah, very much so. And with even us trying to gear up for Mother's Day, you're not seeing the orders come in.
It's not only Elkhart feeling less rosy. The latest CBS News poll indicates a majority of Americans, 53%, believe the economy is getting worse. The poll, a snapshot of the Trump administration's first 100 days, finds 48% say his policies are making them worse off financially. Elkhart's concern dates back to the 2008 financial crisis, when unemployment skyrocketed. CBS News' Dean Reynolds was there.
At this plant, up until August, 900 people once worked. Today, there's nobody here.
In 2025, RVs are still rolling off the production line, but residents have shifted to neutral.
Enjoy your meals?
That wait-and-see approach is also being felt further down Main Street.
How are bookings right now? Things are not as busy as usual.
Jeannie Kern owns the Vine.
People are a little concerned about the uncertainty. I definitely think that people are not spending as much right now. And how does that impact you? We're pretty flat. Business is adequate, but not great.
Having lived through this in 2008, people are questioning every financial decision right now, not knowing where the economy in Elkhart or the United States will go. Janet Chamlian, CBS News.
Well, kids are always looking for something fun and uplifting to do after school.
And the Orange County Soccer Club is providing exactly that. Here's Jamie Maggio. What a nice story.
Such a fun story. Orange County Soccer Club is helping grow the game through a partnership with Anaheim Elementary School District. They're providing coaching, they're providing referees and equipment for a co-ed league across 23 schools. I stopped by a recent game to find out more.
1, 2, 3, get the win!
More than 400 elementary school students across the Anaheim School District are hitting the pitch thanks to Orange County Soccer Club.
Part of our mission at the Orange County Soccer Club Foundation is really to use soccer as a vehicle to promote health and wellness. And what better way to promote health and wellness than playing soccer, playing a sport that you love, that's fun. A lot of these kids have grown up in families where they already love soccer, and we're just providing coaching and guidance and making it a more professional experience for them.
How valuable is a program like this?
You can't measure the impact that the ability to work together with a community partner has on our students. So through the OC Soccer Partnership, we've been able to bring soccer to 23 school sites, which we're giving access to all our students to have competitive sports.
14 coaches from the Orange County Soccer Club Community Foundation lead the co-ed teams open to 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, laying a foundation both on and off the field.
I grew up with soccer, and now that I look back, I see the valuable lessons I've learned from it. And now when I coach these kids, I see them kind of grooming into that. So leadership skills, interpersonal skills, soccer skills, so a range of different things that, grow with them as they go out in life.
There's not an academic requirement, but we see the academic outcomes change because our principals have shared that they're seen as leaders on our campus, and when they wear the school jersey on a Wednesday, they know it's game day, you're representing the school, and there's a bigger responsibility that comes with that.
What sort of changes have you seen in your son since he's been playing soccer with the club the last 2 years?
Oh, he's changed a lot, his physique, his mentality, he's more confident. His grades are actually getting better.
His grades are getting better too?
Yes, due to the soccer team. I'm like, hey, do you want to be in the soccer team? You have to keep up your grades up then. So he has been doing that, and so I'm really proud of him.
This allows us to bring our community together, and the staff, they're looking at who won this week, who's gonna play next week. So even in the school district, we have conversations about what the score was and how the kids did.
While OCSC's focus is to invest in the community, you never know what might come out of it.
Maybe it's a recruiting tool. You get an early look at some of the local talent.
Honestly, nothing would make me happier than to see one of these kids on OCSC's first team roster in a few years.
Yeah.
Nothing would make me happier.
Well, you heard from one of the parents there saying that her kids' grades actually improved. And I talked to a few of the different parents that were there that day. They all said the same thing. They saw their kid had more confidence, they had new friendships, obviously more athletic ability and learning about the game. But a lot of them said that their kid actually was performing better in the classroom as a result of the involvement in the program. I just think that's so wonderful.
That's a plus plus.
Yeah.
Makes
Thank you.
sense. Jamie, thank you. Well, 15 years ago this week, an oil rig explosion triggered one of our country's worst environmental disasters. Coming up, you may be surprised by what's recovered since the BP oil spill and what hasn't.
And a good evening. Live look outside at the Santa Monica Pier. You may be heading down to the coast tomorrow. Temperatures are climbing. I'm tracking 80s and then also some showers in the extended forecast next.
The cause of the fire is still being investigated. It's been 15 years since the BP oil spill sent millions of gallons of oil into the Gulf.
Mark Strassman reports on the restoration of the environment that's still going on today.
Off Grand Isle, Louisiana, a sport fishing paradise, dolphins escorted us during our trip to the Gulf on Captain Craig Belkowitz's charter boat. He wanted to show us what matters here. The redfish are biting.
And if the fish weren't here, the dolphins wouldn't be here.
That's right.
Another sign that this place is recovered.
It's recovered.
Recovered slowly over 15 years. Grand Isle remembers the summer of 2010, the panic across the Gulf.
BP did this? They destroyed us.
Gushing like BP's ruptured well. A feeling of helplessness, frantic efforts to cap the well, bungled attempts to stop ribbons of rust-colored crude from poisoning beaches and wetlands. We covered BP's disastrous spill for 4 months.
All this oil, this is so heavy I can barely lift it, is part of a 16-mile slick.
134 million gallons gushed into the Gulf. Grand Isle became Grand Oil, stuck in the muck of disaster. Mayor David Camerdall fought tears.
I'm gonna lose this place when I know I'm trying my best.
We caught up with him again 15 years later on the same beach.
You were very emotional.
Seeing that all coming through, it was a whole different world for us.
Has Grand Isle recovered?
As the environment moved, it got better and better, we find, and the storms kind of came and pushed some big waves here and kind of pushed the other stuff out.
But below the surface, a different story. Back in 2015, Chris Hernandez showed us his oyster beds, covered in sheen.
Who's going to eat oyster that tastes like oil?
He told us recently those beds have never recovered.
No surprise, the spill had a devastating impact on marine life, coastal ecosystems, and wetlands. Over the last 15 years, some of it has recovered, and some of it hasn't.
Louisiana restored this bird island, home to brown pelicans, herons, and gulls. BP money paid for this $18 million project. Maurice Chantelier is the program's administrator.
We're into the restoration phase now, where we're trying to make right and bring those populations back.
But NOAA shot this underwater footage near the BP wellhead in 2017. Researchers saw almost no signs of life. They went back to the same area last year and say it looks much the same. 100 miles away, back on Grand Isle, Camerdale still has his fears.
And I still think there's a little poison. I shouldn't say it that way, but it still could pop up in the ground.
Even 15 years later, you have that worry.
I do.
It took BP 4 months to seal the well, but there's still no cap on the lingering distrust. Mark Strassman in Grand Isle, Louisiana.
The sunshine was back this afternoon, and there's more warm weather on the way.
And meteorologist Olga Ospina is here with your next weather forecast. Tell us all about it.
Hi, Pat and RUDABEH. Yes, I'm tracking even warmer temperatures. So we already started to feel that warm up this afternoon. Tomorrow, even more so. That's going to be the peak of the warmth. And that means upper 70s and even some low 80s for some of our inland spots. By Wednesday, though, we're going to start to see the return of the low clouds and fog. Temperatures start to drop, so gradual cool down heading into the weekend. And by the weekend, it's not just going to be cool and cloudy, but also a chance for some showers. So things will be changing as we head into late in the week. For now, though, enjoy the clear conditions outside and the warm temperatures tomorrow. Tonight, though, most of us down into the 50s with highs in the low 80s by the afternoon tomorrow. For the valleys, Inland Empire and High Desert, we're at 74 for LAOC Metro, upper 60s along the coast, and 66 for our mountain communities. I do want to show you the next 5 days for places like Riverside. So you too will be in the low 80s tomorrow afternoon. Upper 70s start to move in on Wednesday. We'll keep it in the 70s over the next several days. As we head into Saturday, we're back into the low 70s, and by the weekend, most of us are going to be back down into the 60s. So here's a look at LAOC Metro. Typically 73 is average. We're in the upper 60s on Saturday, low 60s by Sunday, and that's going to be the best chance for some rain, but we could start to see a little bit of wet weather by Saturday night. Here's a look at the beaches as well, with the beach hazard statement in place through Wednesday evening, especially impacting south to southwest facing beaches with that elevated surf continuing for the next couple of days if you are headed to the beach. If you are in the high desert or traveling through those areas in the coming days, be aware of some strong winds moving through by the afternoon, evening hours, especially for our desert locations. And rain chances increasing heading into the weekend with temperatures dropping as well into the 60s. Here's a check of our valleys. A nice day tomorrow in the low 80s, turning into 70s by Wednesday. Same goes for the Inland Empire. And here's a check of deserts, mountains, as well as our beaches. Back to you.
All right, Olga, thank you. This week on Look at This, our Desmond Shaw is taking your requests.
And tonight he visits one of Hollywood's oldest and most prolific movie and television studios.
We'll take a look at this iconic building in Culver City. This is the Culver Studios. It's one of the oldest and most legendary movie studios in the world. It's gone by many different names over the decades. It's nearly as old as Culver City itself. First opening in 1918, the iconic colonial-style mansion was the very first building finished. According to Curb de LA, it's modeled after George Washington's Mount Vernon estate. And it was all the work of one of Hollywood's most important early figures, silent filmmaker Thomas Ince. He was wooed to Culver City by the city's founder, Harry Culver. This would actually be his second studio in the city, the first just down the street where the modern-day Sony studios are. It had been known as Triangle Studios. He started it with 2 other producers, but after only a couple of years, he wanted to start over again on his own, so he acquired 11 acres here in downtown Culver City to start a whole new venture. Sadly, that too only lasted a few years as Ince died under suspicious circumstances on a yacht owned by William Randolph Hearst at only 44 years old. After that, the studio would be bought by some of the biggest names of all time and see some of the biggest films of all time made here. After Ince's death, it was bought by Cecil B. DeMille. Later, it would be bought by RKO Pictures, which was later owned by Howard Hughes. In the 1950s, it was owned by Lucille Ball and her husband, Desi Arnaz, which ushered in the age of television to the lot. The list of movies and shows made here really one of the most impressive of all time. We're talking the original King Kong, Gone with the Wind, the original Batman TV show, the pilot for Star Trek, E.T., the Andy Griffith Show. The list goes on and on. Definitely worth finding the exhaustive full list to read more on. Fast forward to the modern day. This is owned by investment group Hackman Capital Partners. There's been a ton of new construction here over the last decade. Curb de LA says Amazon signed a 15-year deal here to create original content, and with that, these hallowed grounds have seen every Hollywood era, from silent film through the golden age to the birth of television, and now the streaming era, as the Culver Studios is well into its second century. Thanks to Gabriel Soltero for telling me to check out the Culver Studios from Kcal. I'm Desmond Shaw.
And if you'd like Desmond to take a look at something interesting in your neighborhood, just write us at lookathis@cbs.com.
Up next, the breakthrough research offering a better way to treat certain cancers without chemotherapy or surgery.
Driverless cars driving neighbors nuts. It started in San Francisco last year, and now some people in Santa Monica say it's happening here too. We investigate ahead at 10. This year, more than 2 million people will be diagnosed with cancer, but there is new hope in the battle against the disease.
Dr. John LaPook explains how a new approach to treating certain types of cancer is showing some promising results.
When a biopsy revealed cancer in Bruce Nollmeyer's left kidney, he braced himself for the worst.
When you were a kid and you heard the word cancer,
it scared the daylights out of you.
But Nollmeyer learned his cancer had an unusual genetic trait that made him eligible for an experimental trial at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. Over 6 months, he had 9 intravenous treatments to harness his immune system.
They did a CT scan, and they came back and they said they don't see the tumor.
And when you heard that, what did you think?
I couldn't believe it could work that quick, to be honest.
He's part of the study that could fundamentally change the way we treat certain cancers. Here's how it worked. Cancers with a certain mutation are able to put the brakes on our immune system, allowing a tumor to grow. This new treatment is an antibody that releases those brakes, so the immune cells can attack the cancer.
Did you ever imagine you'd get this kind of response?
Dr. Andrea Sursek and her team have completed a study in 103 people with various early-stage solid tumors in sites such as the rectum, colon, esophagus, and urinary tract that contain an unusual genetic mutation.
And of those, what percentage did not need any further treatment?
80% of them didn't need any further treatment. So no surgery, no chemo, no radiation, just immunotherapy.
Only 2 to 3% of all early solid tumors have the same mutation targeted in this trial. So the next step for researchers is testing the drug as part of a cocktail of other immunotherapy agents.
The goal really is to try to minimize that toxicity in survivorship and still cure the patients, but without all the toxicity from our treatments.
Dr. John LaPook, CBS News, New York.
Thanks for watching Kcal News at 9.
Kcal News at 10 starts right now.
Now you can get your Kcal News, weather, and live stream all in one place on the CBS News app. Download it free today.